I just am doing the album thing now, which is a big thing.
Yes.
And then I think the wedding is what happens after that. You know, I'm so excited about it. I'm just like, I know it's going to be fun to plan because I think the only stressful weddings are the ones where you have a small amount and people are on the bubble.
Yeah, I went
like
to New York,
or
New York,
upstate?
New York,
New York, New York,
New York, New York. Yes,
What'd you do in New York, Trev?
Just hung out, man. Put the feet up. Saw some cool places. Ate some great food.
Love
and,
that.
got to feel the big city and its electricity and its buzz that it's always got. And yeah, it's my favorite time right now as the seasons are changing to be around the Midwest and the Northeast. And it was pretty fun. Yeah, there's a picture here of me at Puffy's Tavern saying what's up to a couple guys, and met my guy Summit out for a drink and met some friends. Got some new friends that I know out in New York. It's cool to just kind of vibe around the city like that. I think that's one of my favorite things to do in New York is just to, be one with the city. Just kind of walk the streets and feel the electricity, feeling everybody doing their own shit, and then meeting a few new people on the way.
I'm with you, man. There's so much to do there. And I mean, I love just the public transportation. It's a shame that you're so famous that you can't do it now, Trav, because it is spectacular.
What makes you think I won't go down in the subway right now?
All right, let's do it. You and me. Next time we're in New York, we're taking the subway.
Deal. We did it in London. I'll do it here.
Did you come with me on the subway?
Yeah.
No, I did the subway. You didn't do the subway.
Me, you, Mom, I think Dad and Uncle Don, and I'm pretty sure we all did.
I love hopping on the tube. Big tube.
Dude,
guy.
I'm in.
Tube.
I'm in. See the next up and coming music artist or dance artist.
I mean, how is the subway not awesome? You get to breathe a bunch of
ties into it, man. You know better than anybody. You get so ingrained in the routine of things, and your days are set, your schedules are set. I like to get away and recharge. Not everybody has the same feeling. And, there's a lot of guys out there that have families and they end up staying in town and all that. But I like to get away, recharge, see something else, see a new city, feel like I'm somewhere else. And kind of just shut it down. I'll watch the games on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, but I like to kind of get away. Being in Kansas City for 13 years straight for 8 months out of the year, it's like, yeah, that can be a nice home for somebody. But at the same time, I'm somebody I got to move my feet, man. I got to travel. I got to see new things, visit friends, and I got to see a lot of friends and family out there on the East Coast.
nice.
A single
Taylor
phrase
Swift
has set the internet ablaze like a spark hitting dry confetti. Not July 3rd. No press conference. No official statement. Just a ripple of commentary, interviews, and speculation that suddenly reshaped the entire narrative surrounding one of the world's most closely watched couples. And at the center of it all stand Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, whose love story has already played out like a modern myth written in stadium lights and studio echoes. But this time, the story is not about a performance, a game-winning touchdown, or a surprise appearance. It's about timing. Or more specifically, the refusal of a rumored date. And that refusal has opened a floodgate of questions. If not July 3rd, then when? And if not that, then what exactly is being prepared behind the curtain? The phrase "not July 3rd" first gained traction after a wave of public commentary where Taylor Swift reflected on her current life phase in a surprisingly structured way. In a candid tone, she described being in what she called an album season, a creative chapter that feels like a major milestone in her artistic journey. She spoke about music first. Always music first. Only after that, she suggested, comes something else entirely: wedding planning. That simple sequence, album then wedding, immediately reframed everything fans thought they knew about the timeline. Because for months, speculation had circled a specific summer date tied to a highly anticipated ceremony in New York City. But with that phrase now floating through headlines and fan theories, the calendar suddenly feels less like certainty and more like shifting sand. If this story had a pulse, it would beat in Manhattan. New York is not just where the wedding is rumored to take place. It is where this entire chapter feels rooted. Taylor has long had deep ties to the city, from her real estate footprint in Tribeca to the cultural imprint she has left through music and public life. She has described the city as electric, a place where you don't just move through space, but through energy. In recent appearances and conversations, she has leaned into that idea, speaking about walking the streets, meeting people casually, and absorbing the rhythm of everyday life in one of the world's busiest cities. One particularly vivid recollection included a relaxed night out, dining and socializing in Manhattan, where she reportedly engaged with fans and strangers alike in an unguarded, almost cinematic way. Not a superstar on a pedestal, but a person moving through the same glowing streets as everyone else. Meanwhile, Kelce has echoed a similar fascination with the city's atmosphere. In conversation, he has described New York as a place where you can feel everyone's story unfolding at once. He has joked about public transportation, even suggesting that the subway experience is something he would not mind revisiting, despite his global fame making anonymity a rare luxury. Together, those shared impressions paint a picture of a couple drawn not just to luxury, but to motion, chaos, and life in its unfiltered form. One of the most intriguing elements of Taylor's recent reflections is the way she frames her life in chapters. She described her current focus as creative, centered around music and artistic output. That alone would not be unusual for an artist of her scale. But what stands out is the sequencing. Music first, wedding second. It's not just scheduling. It feels like storytelling. Taylor has always been deliberate about narrative structure, both in her albums and in how she publicly frames transitions in her life. This moment feels no different. The implication is that major personal milestones are not competing events, but parts of a larger arc. And in that arc, the wedding is not canceled, postponed, or diminished. It is simply placed after something she considers foundational. Despite the intense speculation, details about the wedding remain carefully controlled. Multiple reports suggest that the ceremony, whenever it occurs, will be indoors and highly private. Some descriptions point toward a venue that feels more like an arena or museum space than a traditional wedding hall, reinforcing the idea of scale and spectacle combined with security and control. There are also suggestions of confidentiality measures for guests, including NDAs, which has only intensified curiosity. Even the guest list itself is believed to be tightly curated and possibly revealed in stages. One consistent theme, however, is size. This is not expected to be a small, intimate gathering. Taylor has previously joked about the emotional difficulty of small weddings, where guest lists can become personal evaluations of relationships. Instead, she has leaned toward the idea of inclusion on a large scale, where celebration outweighs limitation. That philosophy alone suggests a ceremony that feels more like an event than a gathering. If speculation is accurate, the guest list could resemble a cross-section of modern pop culture and sports royalty. Names frequently mentioned include close friends from Taylor's inner circle, as well as figures connected to Kelce's NFL world. Among them are teammates, celebrity friends, and longtime collaborators from both of their careers. What makes the list particularly fascinating is not just who is included, but what it represents. The merging of two highly public worlds, entertainment and professional sports, into a single shared orbit. It is less a wedding guest list and more a convergence of two cultural ecosystems. Even though New York is central to the current narrative, it is not the only location that has been part of the conversation. Other reports have suggested interest in more private estates, including properties in Rhode Island tied to Taylor's extensive real estate holdings. These spaces have historically served as both personal retreats and symbolic backdrops for earlier celebrations in her life. The contrast between New York City and a secluded coastal estate highlights the tension at the heart of the speculation. Public grandeur versus private sanctuary. What remains consistent, however, is the desire for control over visibility. Whether in a bustling metropolis or behind gated oceanfront walls, privacy appears to be a defining priority. The romance between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce has unfolded unlike most modern celebrity relationships. It did not begin in secrecy or fade into soft confirmation. Instead, it entered the public sphere with stadium appearances, media reactions, and social media amplification almost immediately. From Kelce's early public interest to Taylor's appearances at NFL games, the relationship has been observed, analyzed, and celebrated in real time. Their engagement announcement last summer only intensified that spotlight. Shared publicly with a caption that quickly became iconic, it marked a transition from speculation to certainty. And yet, even with that confirmation, the details of what comes next remain deliberately blurred. So what does the phrase actually mean? It may not be a denial of a specific date at all. Instead, it might represent something more narrative than logistical. A boundary against assumption. A reminder that timelines circulating online do not always reflect real planning. Or perhaps something more artistic. A deliberate pause in the story being told, a way of redirecting attention back toward the present rather than the anticipated future. In a world where every movement is dissected instantly, even absence of confirmation becomes a message. One of the most striking recurring themes in recent conversations around Kelce is his fascination with simply existing in New York as a normal person, even briefly. He has spoken about walking streets, using public transportation, and enjoying the feeling of being part of the city's rhythm rather than observing it from above. There is something almost paradoxical about it. Two of the most recognizable people in the world expressing a desire to blend into a place where anonymity is both impossible and endlessly reinvented. That contradiction may be the closest thing to a metaphor for their relationship itself. At this point, the story is suspended in anticipation. An album era is unfolding. A wedding is being prepared. A city is being positioned as a stage. And a date has been quietly removed from the narrative. But nothing feels absent. Instead, everything feels staged in motion, like a scene paused just before the curtain rises. If not July 3rd is the disruption, then what follows will be the reveal. And when it comes, it will not just answer questions. It will rewrite them.